can't quite describe the feeling I get when diving back into the beautiful world of Subnautica. Other than that, it just feels like I'm home again. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry, this is your home, not mine. I'll leave. Subnautica is my all-time favorite survival horror game that I've ever played. Yes, you heard me right. Survival horror. Look, I know that technically this game is labeled as just a survival crafting exploration game, but look, even Steam agrees with me, this is a horror game, and you will soon understand why. No other survival crafting game that I have ever played has ever made me feel as vulnerable and uneasy to the point of wanting to straight up quit the game, run to my bed, hide under the covers, and calling out for my wife for emotional support. And yet, I keep finding myself coming back to dive deeper into the abyss out of the sheer curiosity of what awaits me next. This incredibly rich and deep story that unfolds throughout your exploration of 4546B. You start the game playing as an unnamed protagonist who crash lands onto an unknown planet all alone in an escape pod that was launched out of a mothership named the Aurora. Your character is mute throughout your exploration, and I think that honestly was the smartest choice that the developers could have gone with, because it adds another level of immersion that truly helps put you in his shoes a bit easier than if he spat out random dialogue throughout the gameplay. There are a few cutscenes sprinkled out throughout the game as you uncover more of the story, but they always stay in first person, which does add to the immersion factor. I'm probably going to repeat myself tenfold throughout this video when speaking about immersion, but truly it's only because no other video game has made me feel like I was exploring around a truly living, breathing world that is as unforgiving as it is beautiful. From the second you step out of your escape pod, your breath is taken away from the vast sea of nothingness that surrounds you. Luckily, you do see that you have landed only about 300 meters away from the Aurora that you used to live on, but sadly, it doesn't look like it's doing so hot. Now, your first instincts are to explore your surroundings to see what you can do just to survive the day, with the ultimate goal of getting off of this planet still floating around in the back of your mind. You will get most of your knowledge throughout your journey from your trusty PDA that will give you detailed information on your current environment, blueprints for crafting new items, and tell you if you're starving, dehydrated, injured, or if you've just completed your daily exercises. As you get more accustomed to your current surroundings, you will soon find new materials that can use to craft new tools and items using the fabricator that is already pre-installed and working on your life pod. You will soon use it to make surviving on this planet just a little bit easier. After you learn to cook and eat fish to satisfy your hunger, you will soon begin to make items such as repair tools to fix the damages on your life pod, flippers so you can swim faster, bigger oxygen tanks so you can stay under the water longer, a scanner so you can learn about literally everything on 4546B just by scanning it to your PDA, and eventually a sea glide that will help you traverse even faster than just using a fancy pair of flippers. The crafting in Subnautica is incredibly easy to understand, and in my opinion, one of the best crafting mechanics I've ever seen in a survival crafting game. My only real gripe with it is that you can't stack items to craft, such as if you have 5 metal scraps on your person, you can't just type in 5 and have the fabricator convert all 5 of those stacks into titanium. You just have to sit there and wait for each individual batch to fabricate one by one, which is kind of a time waster. Thankfully, the modding community has found ways around this, and there are tons of quality of life improvements added for the modding community over the years, which is amazing to see. But for the most part, the in-game crafting system has been an absolute pleasure to learn and to use just for being so user-friendly. Replaying this game in 2022, I still feel that the visuals hold up, being that it was originally released back in December of 2014. Don't get me wrong, the Unity engine is definitely starting to show its age with certain animations and such as running on land or using the knife to slice away creep vines. Yeah, some textures look pretty dated, but for the most part, the lighting and water effects still give it a unique and pretty look, even compared to new games running on much better engines. Thankfully, the game still runs great, and they've even recently ported both Subnautica and its sequel, Subnautica Below Zero, to the Nintendo Switch to show off its great optimizations and excellent performance on slower, weaker hardware. One area where I feel no other game will ever overshadow Subnautica is within its sound design. Not only does this game have a killer original soundtrack that I actually added to my playlist on Spotify and I frequently jam out to, but the ambient sound and noises are just so damn good. The sounds of bubbles escaping your diving mask with every breath your character takes, the subtle noises of peepers swimming past your head as you slowly swim around the safe shallows looking for precious resources, but eventually you will swim a little bit too far from home and end up gazing into the abyss, only to hear the most horrifying roar from the deep down into the abyss that will do nothing but send the strongest shivers up your spine and make you want to swim back up to your safety into your life pod to lay down in the fetal position crying for your mommy. And after you regain some composure and realize that you're clearly not in the top of the food chain anymore, you have to start working on a way to get off of this planet alive. You start asking the important questions. Am I actually alone here? Are there any other survivors from the Aurora? Are there any other humans that inhabit this planet, or is it all sea life? And how can I make it inside the Aurora in order to get it up and running again? Before you can even answer any of those questions, you get a notification on your PDA saying that you have a message on your radio in the life pod. Once you get inside and hit play, you let out a huge sigh of relief as you hear the sounds of other survivors who have also crash landed on 4546B and are in need of rescuing.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
However, the data gets loaded in your PDA with their location coordinates, and it turns your smile into an instant frown as you realize they are much farther from you than expected. It seems you were the only lucky soul to have crash landed in the safe shallows, and everyone else is anywhere from 200 meters below sea level to almost 800 meters down. You begin to panic and realize there is no way that you can go deep with just a sea glide and flippers, but at this point, you have no other options. You either jump into the Aurora alone and attempt to escape the planet, essentially dooming everyone else in the process, or you attempt to go as deep down as you can to save those passengers at the risk of drowning, or worse.
Oh my God!
So, like an absolute Chad, you decide to board the Aurora to escape the planet by yourself. But as soon as you set out to swim over to the ship, it explodes. Great. Now there's radiation all around and you don't have the proper tools or blueprints to enter the ship successfully, so I guess you're forced to stay here a little bit longer. As you sit and ponder your inevitable death, your thoughts start to race. Maybe you should dive deeper into the unknown in order to help those poor survivors who will hopefully help you out in return. But what if there's a monster down there that's really hungry for man meat? But maybe the other survivor only has a minute left to live and you could be a hero. Or maybe they're already dead and you'll be putting yourselves in harm's way for literally no reason. Screw it. You have to try. As you reach your first crashed life pod, it becomes pretty clear that you aren't going to find another survivor here. However, you do find that they have left behind some very useful blueprints that you wouldn't have found anywhere else. That's when you realize that even if you cannot be the hero you were destined to be, at least you can gain useful knowledge from the dead in order to hopefully not end up just like them. Throughout your exploration, you will encounter so many pieces of the story that I don't want to spoil for you in this video, and if you haven't played the game for yourself. Normally, I would just put a spoiler warning and let you skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled, but I truly feel everyone needs to experience this story firsthand to fully feel the impact once you reach the end. I am not kidding when I tell you that the climax of this game brought me to tears. And I don't cry easily, alright? I didn't even cry in 5th grade when I jammed my funny bone in the doorway when rushing out to recess. The fact that this game's story hit me that hard, yeah, that should really tell you something. Also, because the story is around 30 plus hours long and I don't want to be sitting here editing a 40-hour long video. But what I will elaborate on is the world of 4546B and just how vast it feels throughout your journey. Even though I have played through the entire story about 4 times now, I still have yet to fully map out the world in my head. It is that massive. It actually took until my 3rd playthrough to finally realize that this is not a randomly generated world. The map is just that big. You will experience 33 different biomes that all feel like they're different worlds because they have different vegetation, creatures, and resources to find. There are even 2 islands you can find where you can actually run on land, and even though it does feel a bit janky to run on land in a game that takes place mostly underwater, it's still a cool experience and adds a lot of depth and exposition to the story. When it comes to horror, this isn't your typical jump scare with loud music to make you pee yourself type horror. This is a swim until you no longer see the seafloor below you, but only darkness with a deep, loud, roaring sound coming from the depths below you. Or Yay, it's daytime, so I'm safe to grab materials off this cliff edge, only to turn around and be face to face with a monstrosity only your deepest, darkest imagination could think of that picks you up and swallows you whole. I would be lying if I told you that Subnautica didn't give me extreme anxiety at every new biome I came across because of the sheer fear of the unknown. And that is where this game fits perfectly within the psychological horror category and truly will remain in my #1 spot until the end of time. Or at least until Subnautica 3 comes out. Now for this next section, I actually do have to say, spoiler warning. If you would like to skip the spoilers, and trust me, you do not want to get spoiled for this part, please go play the game for yourself and come back to the video, and we'll see you then. My favorite biome has got to be the Lost River for its creepy, ghostly atmosphere and because of the ghost leviathans. They're absolutely terrifying at first, but once you get used to them, they become quite majestic from a distance.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
I have always liked to build my final base right next to the giant cover tree at the end of the Lost River where you can see all the baby leviathan eggs growing. It's both haunting and beautiful at the same time, which I think perfectly reflects the world of Subnautica as a whole. If I were to come up with any cons for this game, it would have to be the few bugs and glitches that you will find in late game that, without spoilers, involves a vehicle and a base that you have to drive through to reach a specific objective to the story. I can't tell you how many times and how many others have played the game have glitched out through the floor or have gotten permanently stuck to the point of having to reload a save, leave their vehicle behind, or restart the game from scratch. Yeah, that happened to me on my first playthrough because I saved right as I got stuck and didn't realize until I was too late and I couldn't revert back to my previous save. So yeah, it took me almost 2 years to get up the courage to come back to Subnautica to start it all over again. But my God, am I thankful that I did. Words and gameplay alone cannot and truly will not do this game justice. The feeling that takes over once you see the end credits start to roll is simply indescribable. It's almost like that feeling of when you look back into the past and you get overwhelmed with some immense nostalgia, but also some deep sadness for remembering the good times and knowing that they have passed by in what feels like the blink of an eye. You can't really describe it, but I think everyone listening has felt that exact feeling at least once in their lifetime. That is the closest way to describe how I felt when I finished my first playthrough of Subnautica, and I can only hope that each and every one of you can experience this masterpiece in your lifetime. So that was it. That was my full retrospective of Subnautica, the very first one. If you guys would like to see more videos like this, leave like, share, support. It does truly help, and tell me if people want to see more content like this in the future, as well as let me know in the comment section below what game you would like me to do retrospective of next. I love the genre of horror. I love action adventure. I love racing games. I don't really have a specific game or genre that I'm not a fan of. So shoot your shot, and if you do end up choosing the game of your choice, I will shout you out in the next video. Also, I do want to give a quick shout out to my bud Blue Tag. I recently did a collab video with him. If you haven't checked it out, it's my retrospective of Burnout 3. We had a lot of fun making that video, and if you like this kind of content, you're going to love his channel. So definitely go give him a subscribe and check out his stuff. And the last thing before I head out, we do have a community Discord. I'll have a link for it in the description below, as well as in the comment section. I'll pin it above. So definitely check it out. It's a very fun place to go hang out and get to know me a little bit more. If you want to ask me any specific questions, or if you just want to hang out and make some new friends, there's a lot of amazing people already in there, sharing memes, talking in the general chat, hanging out in the voice chat, you name it. So with that, again, thank you guys so much for the support. Hope you have a lovely day. Leave a like, share, support as always. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And we'll hopefully see you in the next one. Peace out. Hey guys, Nick here again. Just wanted to really quick give a huge shout out to my members. That's Bacon Spaceman, Vinny Severiman, and Thrasher the Black Stallion. Thank you guys so much for your amazing support on the channel. It does truly help. And if you would like to be shown at the end of every new upload, just like these fine gentlemen here, just join the memberships right below every new video. You click the little join button there, and for as little as $1, that's right, $1, you can join the Vicarious crowd and help support the channel for all new content. So with that, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. Hope you have a lovely day, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.